Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spirit Switchboard. I'm your host, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM out of New Orleans. So thanks for being here, everybody. Just a few things to mention before we bring our guest in. A few things that are coming up. It is my 1-year anniversary with my newsletter, which is called Carrie Lynn's Porch News. If you follow along with me on social media, I have an intuitive mentoring group that I have, and I call it Carrie Lynn's Porch. On my social media, I do a morning porch post every day, just, some... A little blurb with my coffee and how I start my day, setting my intention out on my porch every morning. So, it just felt like a natural extension to do the newsletter that way. And so the newsletter is going out September 1st. It will be my first year anniversary. And I have some fun things happening in that newsletter. So if you head to my website, which is carrielynshellhorn.com, and sign up for the newsletter. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you. I'm glad that you love the porch posts, and thanks for being here today. Thank you, Catherine, for sharing us out. Thank you, Kathy. I know, the 1 year, it's a big deal. Oh, thank you, Heather. Robbo, thanks for being here. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Contessa. Thank you, everybody, for being here. A few more things. So if you do sign up for the newsletter, there are the upcoming guests for September, links to the books that they'll be promoting. All of that stuff will be in the newsletter. Thank you, Michelle. It's been a learning curve. All of this, the podcast has been a learning curve. The newsletter, all of it has been, it's a good learning curve. It's been a good learning curve. What else is coming up? So the Lake Superior Paracon is coming up really soon. It's in Thunder Bay. Hey, Wojo, thanks for being here. Hi, Sandy. So the Lake Superior Paracon, Laura Lee Potvin, who is the host of the Angel Rock on Mondays and the Thing at the Foot of the Bed with David Hansel, her co-host David Hansel on Thursdays. She's going to be speaking. The guests that I've had on before, Wojo. How did I find you guys? I found you guys through Dale Quigley and Michael John from the Paranormal Voice. They're going to be there. That's how I came across Wojo. That's how I came across you and Richie B. So Bigfoot Banter with Richie B. Give those guys a peek. They have their show on Saturday nights. Please like and subscribe to them. Oracle readings by Lisa. So Lisa Crick has also been on the show. Take a follow with her on social media, please. She is brilliant. And I heard through the grapevine that her dog needs biscuits and she's got a few spaces open. Right, Lisa? Right? Look at my wall. I know. I still have to get everything done. It's been a slow process getting things done. What else do I have happening? I just, what else? The event in St. Thomas, Ontario, the Love, Life, and the Afterlife, What the Other Side Wants You to Know, is happening at the Princess Ave Playhouse. It is a theater that is a former church. And honestly, it's my third year doing an event there. I love working at it. The energy is intense. It's the original pews are the seats in the venue. The last time I did the event there, there was a man in spirit talking loud enough that you could hear it through the mic. Like it's a great venue, and I will be there in October. So those tickets are available on the website as well too. Thanks. You know what, Wojo? I'm gonna tell my kids that you said that I'm the best. I'll let them know that you said that. So let's bring out my guest. I'm excited. And she was sharing with me how this connection happened, which is through lovely Kim Sage. We all love Kim Sage. Kim Sage has been on the show as well too. So any of the archived shows you'll be able to find through SoundCloud, on YouTube. So the UFO Paranormal Radio Network and the United Public Radio Network, or through the Spirit Switchboard on YouTube, you'll be able to find all of those archives there as well. Let's just change some things up here. So the guest that I have today is Annemarie Heckert, and she's been so patient with me because, you know, having the name that I do, it's long and people call me Carolyn and they misspell it. And I know we all love Kim Sage, right, Lisa? I agree. And I misspelled her name. So she was so gracious when she brought that to my attention. And so she is a spiritual teacher, Reiki Master teacher, certified, registered yoga teacher. She has many hats. Spiritual teacher, medium, Annemarie Heckert. Please welcome her.
Hi. Hello. Hi, Carrie Lynn.
It's nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And let's see if I can get my orientation a little bit better for this camera. Thank you so much for having me this evening. It's such a nice opportunity to meet all of the members in your community, and bridge them to my community here on the East Coast in the States.
Yeah. And well, a lot of the people that follow in the chat are also from the States. That's been the most brilliant. Wonderful. Because, you know, we reach internationally. So
yeah, it's fantastic.
It is. It's really brilliant. Hi, Julie. Oh, let's bring this up for you to see. Miss Lisa is just saying hello.
Yes, hello. Hi, I see it.
There we go. And from Sherry, saying hi, everyone. You know, and when we were talking about all the hats that you wear, I should have also added, you know, that you're also author, and which brings us here today, right? And
yes, thank you.
And your book, Enlightened. 7 Chakras to Self-Discovery, right?
That is correct. Yes.
And it's the debut book, correct?
Correct. So far, that is right. And you know, they say when you write a book, it's a lot like having a baby, and I found that to be true. And I think that, well, in my experience personally, anytime that I have 3 children, but anytime I had a baby, I thought, oh, this is it. This is all that I need. I'm really good. I'll never do it again. But it's been a couple of months now since Enlightened has been released, and I'm sure that when the time comes, I'll be ready again for a second book.
Right. And it's not, I think that we
Hi, Pat.
Pat R. Love you, Annemarie. You are the best.
Thank you, Pat. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you for tuning in, Pat. I should almost put my glasses on to see what everyone is saying. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the book.
So for those of us that are meeting you for the first time today, can you kind of take us back? I love that it's your whole family. Like this awareness and connection is part of your heritage. And can you share with us a bit about that? Oh,
Carrie Lynn, thank you so much. Yeah, I I have a wonderful family. I'm so very blessed to have been brought up in many different ways, and in many different ways into these gifts, as I refer to them as the gifts. So you probably refer to them as well, right, Carrie Lynn, as the gifts? Yeah.
Yes. But if you ask my children, they do not like being asked, so do you have the gift? They get
Yes.
irritated.
Yeah. What Christmas gifts? What are you talking about? Yeah. I'm so blessed in that, and I do address part of this in my book. But both of my grandmothers were very intuitive in their own way, and I know that my maternal grandmother, her mother, my great grandmother Anna, she was actually clairvoyant, and I grew up sitting at the bottom of the steps into my grandmother's kitchen, listening to the stories that everyone would share about great grandmother Anna and all of the times that she had encounters with spirits on their farm in Chester County, Pennsylvania, or animal spirits as well, in addition to regular spirits, I guess. But my paternal grandmother also was extremely claircognizant. She just knew things. And as it came down through my immediate family, both of my parents are very blessed to have their own gifts. Although my father is a tough old Marine, and so he would probably not admit to having an ounce of clairvoyance or claircognizance or clairaudience, but he certainly does. And my mother is a wonderful, exceptionally patient and kind healer in her own regard. She worked in behavioral health for 30 years. And so her gifts of truly of grace and compassion have also in many ways been modeled for me. I don't know that I always embrace them personally, but my parents provided the right kind of recipe for me to create all of these gifts and make something good of them. Yeah.
Do you feel that your dad would be, or was he more open to using different terms? Like using terms
Do
like
I have you, Carrie Lynn? Are we a little glitchy?
Just a tiny glitchy. Yep. That's okay, because it seems to glitch itself. So are you able to hear me still okay? Oh dear. Let's see what we can do for her. Just hang on, everybody. Let's see if we can help her out. Pat, I agree. Pat is just sharing, totally recommend you all read the book. You will be enlightened. And it is, the way that she's laid it out is beautiful. And with the personal stories entwined, it makes it easy for people. Hey there.
We're still in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. I expect nothing less.
Well, and we do have, Michelle is just sharing, we do have nasty weather rolling in. So
I understand. It's the end of the summer storms. I totally understand.
Yeah. And Pat was just sharing, totally recommend you all read the book. You will be enlightened.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you so much. I've been working with Pat for several years. And actually, she is, so a lot of the characters in my book are compound characters, which really means that there's several different characters kind of combined into one.
Right.
And so there is a character in my book in which Pat inspired. So it's very special. Yes, she's wonderful.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So
Yes.
before things went a little glitchy,
yeah.
do you? I was going to ask, like, with your dad being that Marine, that hardened Marine, do you find he would be more receptive to those conversations without using the words that feel a little too woo-woo? Like, if you said you've got a good gut feeling, feeling instead of,
Carrie Lynn, I don't know that the word feeling would be used. It would be, and that, and I say that with such endearment. I'm not sure if he's watching this evening, but if you are, hi, Dad. But no, Dad had an incredible situational awareness. He is a combat veteran, so his skill set that was offered to myself and my siblings was to really pay attention and to really see the world around you in all that it is. Okay, from everything from the blue skies to the green grass, but also who's walking beside you and what is happening in front of you. So that was really impressed upon us our entire lives. And I think in part, hi, Jenny, that's my sister. Hi, Jennifer. Gotta love those tough old Marines. That's right.
There's actually a story about your sister and you being the day that you were born, right at the very beginning of your book. I don't want you to share it because I want people to be able to read
spoilers.
it and experience. No spoilers, but Jenny does play a part in the stories.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Jenny is my very best friend in the whole entire world. So it's something that I treasure her in having that shared memory and understanding kind of the large scope of what our parents were teaching us and modeling for us.
Right.
So when it came down to actually exercising my gifts, I was the stage had already been prepared for me in that my father had already given me the tools necessary to really pay attention to things so that when I am working with a client and I look clairvoyantly into what's happening around them and for them, I'm really noticing a lot of information, much more than what is immediately in front of me. But in some of the classes that I teach, I talk about like holding the image and really exploring, okay, so Annmarie has on red glasses, but she has this oversized bookshelf with a bunch of clutter that's in it. And
books are not clutter.
Yes, they're old friends, Carrie Lynn, right?
They are.
So those are just two super simple examples of what my father has really graced us with in terms of really paying attention. And
it's even bigger because it's about being in the moment.
Yes. Yeah, being in the moment. Yes, and as not just being in the moment, Carrie Lynn, in the Heckert household, but also having an anticipation about what's to come. And so my father, after the Marine Corps, he was a major city fireman. Geez. And so we talked a lot about the sense of safety and the sense of when it's okay to do things and when it's not okay to do things. And so that was really translated into, hello, hi, Howie, translated into not just safety situations, but then really in all aspects of my life.
How beautiful.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool.
And are those the same skill sets that you are giving to your children as well too? Are your
Yeah.
children embracing it in the same way?
I hope so. I hope that I have taken the best of my parents and translate in in a developmentally appropriate manner. Translate those blessings to my children as well. But my children are also blessed or kind of gifted in their own ways. My middle child, she is also clairvoyant. Although I'm not so sure that she will be called to step into working as a professional medium or professional psychic. Although I do ask her questions myself about my personal things, and I'll say, "Hey, look at this," and she'll say, "Oh, Mom, you know." Let's go, later on, whatever. So she doesn't have quite the urgency or quite the burning desire that I have, which is totally fine.
Yeah, it's I have 4 children. So my
Yes,
oldest is like 31 now and my baby is
great.
19,
Oh
and
my gosh.
all have their own abilities as well too when it's within this family structure, right?
Yes,
But have I don't I agree with you. Like, it's not always needing to be their profession, but it
yes,
helps them in whatever experience they're in, whatever
yes,
profession they choose, or whatever experience they're in. Being able to tap in and honor it doesn't give their power away. So
yes.
somebody else's voice is more important than their own.
That's right. Oh, yes. And anyone that knows my family firsthand, we speak pretty freely in my house. There aren't many rules about curse words or anything like that. My children are 13, 15, and 19 now. So
Nice.
I just decided a long time ago to really empower them with the opportunity to speak as they feel necessary, provided it is appropriate.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
but
But they
yeah,
choose to. Like,
yes,
when they
yes,
when they know that there's consequences, like
yes,
thoughts, words, deeds, and actions all have consequences,
yes,
um, they make right choices when we give them the space.
yes, yeah. And in a way that um, I feel as though they'll hear. I try to teach them some of the lessons that I have learned through my favorite authors. Such as like the Four Agreements, the book The Four Agreements. That's pretty popular. But one of the Four Agreements is the impeccable word, and to really say what you mean and mean what you say. And so we do honor that value here at home too. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's I liked how you presented, right? How you presented working with your chakras, and you made it very personal. Uh,
Thank you. Thank you, Carrie Lynn. It wasn't my idea. It was actually I was starting to work with the editor from my publisher, Macmillan, St. Martin's Press, and as I was working with him, he had my manuscript in his hands, and he said, Annemarie, all these mediums, they have such great ideas and such wonderful stories, but they're all the same.
it's true
and
though.
so, yeah. And so he said, what could we possibly do to structure these stories? And he said, you have experience with the chakras. And I said, I do. And he said, do you think you could teach about that? And I said, yeah, of course. So he said, well, see what you can do. And I took it and ran with it. And I'll never forget when I submitted my first draft of the book to him, and I'm waiting on pins and needles for his first review, and he said, Annemarie, he said, your stories are aces. And I thought,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's fantastic. I'll take that to my grave. Thank you so very much. And I'm so glad that I was able to provide these stories, because they're very personal and they're very sacred to
They
me.
are. Yeah,
And in a format, in a structure that I think resonates with a lot of people.
it does.
Yeah.
And you're giving people that opportunity to cultivate their own self-awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. And so much of that is what we do, right, Carrie Lynn? I mean, so much of what we offer is beyond the message, and it's really I really gain a lot of fulfillment in my work in knowing that at the end of the day, not only have I served spirit and the angelic realm, but also I've given those that are here on the earth the keys to unlock their connection with their spiritual support team or angelic support team. I mean, that's really what it's all about. You don't have to come to a medium for interaction with your guidance from heaven.
Exactly. You do not.
Yes.
And it comes back
Yes.
to um, uh, understanding how that connection works for you and
Yes.
trusting how that works for you. And I've been thinking about this, as I was preparing for today and having you on, and I was thinking about that, like the way that you've laid it out really helps people understand probably things that they have a little bit of knowing, but wouldn't know how to put those words together. Why does this person feel a little off to me? Or why am I kind of drawn to this person? Or,
Oh, yeah.
why am I feeling pulled to listen to the same song on a loop over and
Yes.
over? Or I'm pulled to wearing like a lot of yellow today
Yes.
and surrounding myself with a lot of yellow. Why is that? And
Yeah.
you really help. I think with the tools that you've provided in the book, some clarity and understanding and encouragement to explore that a little bit more.
Thank you so much. I remember when my teacher, Candy Danzis, I speak of her throughout throughout the book, and Candy came to my home office really toward just before she transitioned, just before she crossed over, and she came to me for a Reiki treatment. And I was a student of the chakras at the time and in yoga. I was really in the throes of everything. And she came in and she said, I've been sending Reiki clients to you and I've never had a Reiki treatment from you. And so I was very humbled in that she had trusted me so carefully with her Reiki clients. But also when she stepped into my house, she said, my God, of course I'm sending everybody to you. Your whole house is yellow. And I
And
had
it's a
just,
big deal. When we
yes.
do this kind of work, we are
Mhm.
very careful about who we let in our energetic space.
Yes. Yeah. And then yes, for the purpose of our work, but then to also be a mother, and then to know that our children are also being subjected to the kind of energy that we surround ourselves with. So it's important. Yeah. So at the time, I wasn't even really paying attention to that. But I had painted my whole house, the entire interior of my house, yellow. So yeah, I was really working on my third chakra. Yes, the best spiritual experience was with your Reiki Master, Kathy. That's wonderful. I'm just reading what one of the guests has offered in the chat. And thank you, Kathy. Her question is, where can we get the book, please? Kathy, it's offered at all major retailers. You can get it at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, and Books A Million. I know that quite a few specialty shops are also offering it as well.
You could,
So
along the bottom, sorry, Annmarie, along the
yeah,
bottom, we have Anne-Marie's website as well, too. If you go directly to her website, you will see the events that she's got going on. You can purchase the book. There's a link through her website. So you get to know a little bit more about Annmarie as well, too, and support her that way. Buying the
thank
book
you,
directly.
Carolyn. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. I forget to plug my own website. I'm still new at this. Yes.
All good.
That's
I got
great.
your back.
Thank you. Thank you, Carolyn. Yes, that's awesome. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. So yeah, so could you talk about why like the impact that our chakras have? So maybe for those people who are just coming into their spiritual journey or not understanding
Yeah.
what we're talking about or are new to
Sure.
this, could you bring
Yeah.
them into the conversation?
Sure. So, when I was first coming into this work, I had already experienced a great deal of spiritual experiences. So I had a very kind of splattered, abstract understanding of angels and spirits and just haphazard information that was coming to me all the time. And when I started to be introduced to the teachings of yoga, I was there introduced to the energetic system of the chakras. And so, if you were a yoga teacher or yoga student around the world, you may hear it referred to as the chakras, which is technically the proper Sanskrit version. However, in my small town on the East Coast, I lovingly refer to it as the chakras. So, depending on your your place on the world, but when I started to understand what the chakras are, it really opened up my eyes to a means to understanding energy. So I quickly learned that there are 7 primary chakras. And yoga showed me the way as well, Deborah. That's wonderful to see that. Keep going with yoga, right? Um, and oh, yes, hi Mish. The name of the book, what is the name of the book is her question. And Mish, the name of the book is called Enlightened. I have a copy of it here. Enlightened, 7 Chakras to Self-Discovery. And so the chakras are 7 energetic centers that really radiate around us, within us, and you can kind of think of it a little bit like these this image that is here along the binding of my book, where it is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. They are representative of the chakras and correlate to the vibrational frequency of each chakra. So each chakra really illuminates different parts of our energetic DNA. And oh, you're welcome, Mish. And our energetic DNA and how we perceive ourselves, but also how we perceive the world around us. And thank you, Melody. I appreciate your compliment. And Melody is saying you can feel your lovely, authentic energy through the screen. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I appreciate that so much.
Melody has a beautiful store in Sarnia, Ontario, selling crystals and jewelry and mindful, and it's called mindful
Oh, wonderful.
crystals and
Thank
jewelry.
you.
Yeah. Or did I do
Thank
that?
you.
Did I do it backwards, Melody? I'm really sorry if I did.
Thank you so much, Melody. I have some clients in Ontario, and when I work with them again, I will definitely send them to your store. That's fantastic. Yeah. And
So sure,
you
these chakras as battery cells, if that makes sense.
yeah, that's a really good way of understanding it. And in some ways, I think of you've heard the phrase, for example, when someone you've just met, you may have heard the phrase, they light up the room. Okay, and it's true when our energy precedes us into into a physical space, but also when we've left the space, sometimes that energy lingers for a little while. But our chakras are, when I see someone's chakras, I see it as actual light. So I really do see the colors, and I see how it extends above and beyond and within the human structure. So to me, it's really fascinating. And in our essence, in our spirit, and I know you know this, Carrie Lynn, but that's actually kind of what we are. We are light. We're in our light bodies. And so the chakras are just another expression of our light bodies. Yeah.
I had an amazing experience when, because my children are older now, right? They're adults. When they were younger, I used to host kids like spiritual summer camps, so they could connect with other kids that were having experiences as well too, and parents could connect because not all parents have these sort of experience, right? So, or remember their childhood experiences, connecting with spirit. And I remember having the kids, we would talk about chakras, we would do little meditations, we would do all of these sorts of things. And some of the kids would say, when we would hit different colors, that they weren't seeing a color, they were seeing a symbol, and then would ask if they could draw these symbols. So
that's fantastic.
Like, isn't it? I was like, these little people are the teachers.
Yes. It's so true. And I think that if we can honor and hold on to that state, but as long as we possibly can as adults, but if we can't hold on to that state, we can really access that state through our joy and our childlike innocence. So a lot of what I do in my work is, and I'm sure you do this too, Carrie Lynn, where the angels give a lot of my clients permission to express joy and to return to their joy. And as parents, as working adults, we get so caught up in our responsibilities that it's so important to laugh and so important to embrace the things that carry us away. Maybe it's music or dancing or whatever, reading, you name it. But the trick is to keep it going. Yes.
Deb is sharing. I created affirmation cards for kids when I was first starting doing all of this. So she's just mentioning that she still has a pack of those. She said such kindness and joy. And I agree. It's that kindness and joy. And that was one of the questions. I guess you're kind of getting into there without you asking the question about why, like the impact of our well-being,
Yeah, it's really important. And I think that the happier, the more joyful that we can be, the easier we can be, the easier access we have to the angelic realm or to the spirit realm. And it's really easily accessible. For me, it's a little bit like getting into the car and snapping in my seatbelt. It's just that rote to me anymore. But not everyone takes to driving very easily. Sometimes it takes a little practice, and sometimes you have to drive really slowly before you really get onto the super highways. But it's still worth a try.
So do you find a lot is like helping people reconnect, like spiritual body, emotional body, etheric body, like understanding that coming together, like I guess healing through, like healing grief and trauma so that they can be in their body?
Yeah, I think that the majority of the clients that I work with spend the majority of their time really in their human self. And which is okay. We're all doing our very best. And it's something that as we start to develop those tools to be able to step into our joy and step into our authenticity and to step into our truth, we're really aligning very carefully and very closely with the ability to access the angels and the spirit realm. Yeah.
It is powerful.
Yes, it is. And to me, it's fun. I mean, I really kind of geek out about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's exciting.
You feel confident when you are making choices. You're not making choices out of fear or actions out of fear, because you feel in alignment and confident and supported and you just hope that people want to catch on to that, right? Okay, so let me catch up with some of these comments.
Go right ahead. Yes.
So, Laura, I spoke about Laura Lee at the beginning of the show, talking about her. She's going to be at the Lake Superior Paracon as well, too. She has a show here with UPRN, two shows actually. Mondays, the Angel Rock, and Thursdays, the Thing at the Foot of the Bed, with her co-host David Hansel. So
I love that title.
Laura Lee is just sharing life transformations can happen working with the chakras as a healer. I do so with crystal Reiki. It's amazing the positive changes that can happen. And you're very welcome, Laura Lee. I appreciate you, and I'm always so grateful for you. Kathy, I'm going to get to your question in just a second. So Howie is the Rift Nation network. He has a show called The Orion Effect. There's a couple of other shows. I'm really sorry, Howie, that I speed through all of these. He is saying, OMG, I was thinking about our personal journey and day-to-day interaction today in spirit and active life on the super highway of
Very cool.
Spirit. Yes.
The super highway, of course.
And getting off the highway and getting onto the back roads of life and having an adventure.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what, Howie, I need to borrow. Howie is the one that taught me to take a moment and say when you need to flush the toilet within the conversation. It's happening in the chat.
That's great.
And it's currently happening. So we're just going to do that. It's so funny.
That's quite all right.
So just give me 1 second and we are going to do what we need to do. We're just going to delete some of those. Did I get them gone? Right, Howie? I'm so grateful that you taught me that. Because we don't need people creating havoc in the chat. So we're just going to delete that one, and then I think we're good to go. Kathy, I'm going to come up to that comment right now. Deborah is just sharing, goodness, there's such positivity here. You two are great together. Very high, clear, good vibes. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you so much.
Is also a medium. She's worn many hats as well too. Author,
Very
poet,
cool.
Lawyer, nurse. I think many of us wear different hats before we step into do this full time.
Yeah.
Kathy is sharing, how can you read chakras through Zoom? I think that's at the same, like when people ask if you can have a spiritual reading, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And Kathy, I think it's something that I can give you two answers to that. And that for me specifically, I see so clearly into the future. So if I can see into the future, there's no problem with me seeing through Zoom. Okay, so that's the silly answer, really. But the more serious answer is that usually when I'm working with Zoom, it's identical to if I were seated across from my client in my little office. And as I have come to learn, the content of the sessions does not vary whatsoever, in that I have my team of angels and guides that really illuminate information for me, so that I really don't have to look very hard for the content for my client. And sometimes I will sketch things out I always keep a little notepad next to me. And I'm constantly writing things out so that as I receive it, I will jot it down. So there really isn't anything lost. And also, when I see things, it's super cool for me. And this is one of the parts where I kind of geek out, in that I can see things as though they're 5-dimensional, like right in front of me. So I can manipulate the image so that I can, for example, if I'm looking at someone's heart chakra, I can see all of the energy and all of that content, and then I can go in a little bit further, and I can see like the shoulders, and I can see the clavicle, or maybe the scapula, and then I can go in and I can see the interior of the heart, and then I can see into the arteries, and all the way into the center of the heart, for example. So if I needed to flip-flop the image, I could actually flip-flop the image in front of me as though it were like a Rubik's Cube, like right in front of me, so that maybe I could see it from a different perspective. But to me, it's super cool. And I feel like I can get somewhere that way. So I have no problems working with someone through Zoom at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for people to remember that we are part of that bigger collective consciousness of one, so that energy and our divine team.
Yes,
Like
precisely.
that,
Yeah.
you know, we're it's all part of it. And
Yeah.
the client's higher self and the client's divine team working in conjunction with ours.
Yes, precisely. Yeah.
So
Thank you for that, Carolyn.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's
Thank
incredible,
you.
Lena.
Thank
It's
you.
fascinating.
Thank
Sue
you.
is fascinating.
It is super fascinating. Yeah,
And
it's
Pat,
so.
who has worked with you, is saying, I love those sketches. The sketching is I do this, I write in sketch as well too. I find, because it's become so sensory, it helps get that out.
Yeah, thank you. It is to me, I'm not sure that I could really read without having a pen in my hand. It's just part of it's like putting the keys in the ignition, I think, before we take our trip.
Yeah.
And yes.
With the chakras as well too, it's really helping you discern. It helps people discern why you would feel things from people in a space. It helps you be okay within making those choices or boundaries.
Yes.
Strengths and weaknesses too, right? Strengths and weaknesses.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And one of my sure. One of my favorite books that I reference in Enlightened is The Anatomy of Spirit. And in that book, it's a wonderful resource for anyone that's studying the chakras, in that it really breaks down the light as well as the shadow aspect of our energetic system and our vibrational frequencies. So just like maybe we'll stay with the heart chakra, since I was giving that as an example. But if we were to have, say, for example, someone comes to me, a client comes to me because they have a lot of anxiety. And the anxiety has manifested into maybe agoraphobia, or something that feels exceptionally limiting. Then what we can take a look at in a session is what their heart chakra is attempting to tell them, and why are they feeling so much anxiety, or so much of a need to sit still, and so much of a need to stay home where it's safe. So in a session like that, I would probably talk a lot about the heart chakra, but also about the root chakra, where we experience our sense of safety and a sense of home, or a sense of tribe, but also probably the throat chakra as well, where we are able to express what's happening for us, and express those feelings that are coming to us in terms of anxiety in a very rapid space, or that doesn't really have any groundedness to it. So, so yeah, there are shadow aspects to the chakras, and they are also wonderful tools to help better define what we are experiencing. Everything is for us to learn. These are all of our chakras are just these magnificent opportunities to understand why we're here, what we're supposed to be doing, and really how we can best, quite frankly, in my experience, in my opinion, how we can best arrive to our soul purpose.
I agree. I say that all the time. Like how we are meant to be of service to the world around us.
Entirely. Yeah. And I think that in my experience personally, but also in the observations that I've made from the majority of my clients, when we're in service, that's when we're really feeling the most fulfillment. And it's true. I think what they say, that we can go anywhere, but we can also be right at home when we're at our happiest. Yeah.
And when we're sharing, like when we share, we're sharing our passions, our joy. We're most joyful, and people feel that. So Sherry Haskell is sharing fascinating. I would love to have a session with you both.
Sherry. Thank you. Yes. And you can, Sherry, you're welcome to go right to my website if you'd like. The scheduling is available there. And since you're, actually, I'm just guessing that you're not in central Pennsylvania. So you're welcome to have a virtual session.
So Kathy is sharing, got the book on order.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. I'll be excited to hear your response. Please don't hesitate if anyone if any of the viewers have already read the book, please don't hesitate to leave a review on Amazon or Goodreads.com.
Please and thank you.
Yes.
This is my friend James, who's in Washington, who is sensitive. So he's asking for information on making my clairvoyance work a little better. So what chakras would you look at for that as well? Yeah.
Hi, James. Thanks for viewing this evening's interview. I appreciate you. So your clairvoyance is, it is really here in your third chakra. Okay. So it's really in and around, and it's in and within and around your eyes. So it is some quick exercises that you could do are, okay, are you ready for this, James? This is a really, really serious exercise. You can take a nap. You can take a nap, and you can dream. Okay, and it sounds so silly, but if prayer resonates with you, you can ask your spiritual support team or your angelic support team to show you what it is that you need to see, or show you what it is that you need to know in the context of the dream state. And if you feel compelled, when you upon awakening, really in that twilight space, that sweet spot where you're not really awake, you haven't had your cup of coffee on the porch yet, but you're still maybe in that slumber space, jot down your dreams. And it may not make sense. It might be these really abstract ideas and purple elephants and, castles in the sky. But chances are, if you record that content in a little dream journal, it will soon start to make sense. So dream time. That's a wonderful way to exercise your clairvoyance, but also meditation. So meditation doesn't have to be, and I say this in the book, you don't have to be Buddha on top of the hill
So
to practice meditation.
you do
It
not
is,
have to sit in lotus position for 8
no,
hours.
you really don't. You could actually just take a deep breath in the restroom at your corporate office, or what have you, and just come into a quiet space and really just close your eyes and relax your breath and bring forward any image that comes to your mind. And as that image is presented to you, just really hold space for it, James, and without judgment. So I know that far too frequently we say, "Oh, that's baloney. I don't know what the hell that means," or whatever. But the truth is, sometimes if we can just keep that doorway into the third eye ajar just long enough, we will receive that content that we're seeking. And so the trick is to keep that door ajar or open as long as you can, just to get a little bit of information. I call them kind of snapshots, where you might get a picture or two. But as you develop this kind of spiritual stamina to keep that door ajar even longer, you're going to start to get really kind of moving images, and then you're really going to get like a full movie of content, and then from there you really start to be able to interpret the information that comes to you. So dreams, meditation, and then lastly, really art. And that can be in any way, shape, or form. We're all artists. We're all artists. Maybe we're not a Degas or a Picasso, but that's okay, because we're here to co-create with God and with the universe and bring things forth into existence. We really are the instruments of God. But if you can draw, if you can color, if you can create in any way, shape, or form, it's going to help activate your inspiration and your imagination, and it will start to really open up your third eye. So dream time, meditation, and anything with art.
Creativity, I agree. All
Yes,
of that is
creativity.
great.
Yeah.
One of the things that I encourage people to do too, you don't have to be a tarot reader or an oracle card reader. You do not. But if you have them, it's a great way to build your intuitive connection to both your divine team. And so I encourage people to hold it in between, like pull a card and hold it in between their hands or up against their chest, because this helps you remember to breathe. You can feel if you're holding your breath and disconnecting, right?
Yes.
But asking your divine team to give you 2 pieces of information that you can see about the card without looking at it, and just writing
that's good, Carolyn.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, I just need 2 pieces of information about this card. And then you really understand what, every time I see something blue, it's a card about emotion. So you know that when you're seeing those symbols outside of it, this is the message you're getting, right?
Yes, that's true. So I love that my client Pat R is viewing this evening. I remember a few years ago in a session, she said, "Annemarie, I know this isn't important." And I said, of course it is, Pat. It's all important. She said, "But could you help me find a roll of wallpaper?" And I said, "Sure." And so I said, I walked her through it. I said, it's a long roll, and she said yes, and I said, well, it's in the very back, and it's in a closet, and the closet has a pull down light bulb. And she said, I already looked back there. And I said, come on. I said, I'll walk you to it. And so I literally walked her to it in the reading, and she said, oh my gosh, I'll be darned. I there it is. So
funny.
so finding things is fun. Finding things is a lot of fun for me, and I have yet to find the lottery ticket winning
Because
numbers.
I'm not meant to. Do you get that conversation? I have that
Oh,
conversation with so many people.
yes, all the time. And I'm like, oh, you guys, it doesn't work that way.
It
Sorry.
does not. It does not. Hi, Richie.
No.
I did see you. So Richie, Wojo was here earlier, and I plugged the show. So Bigfoot Banter with Richie B and
Hi,
his
Richie.
co-host Wojo are Saturday nights. So please give them a like and subscribe. Pat is just saying, "Oh my gosh, it was too funny. She did fine."
Oh, thanks, Pat. It was really pretty.
Yeah.
Can't lose that.
I think that people don't realize when you get in a zone when you're creating, even if it's just coloring an adult coloring book, you
Yes.
get in that place of breathing and non-thinking. It's in a non-thinking space that allows
Yes.
that connection to happen.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. And it's the joyful state, it really is where we're made to connect with the angels and spirit the most.
Yeah. Yeah. And you learn what they feel like vibrationally. So if something else shifts, you understand it. I always say it's like when you have, you have your turkey dinner and you need to like take your nap after your turkey dinner on the couch, but somebody
Yes.
comes into the room, but you know who they are by their feel, by that
Yes.
vibration. The more
That
that
is
you
true.
do this work, the more you can feel if a grandparent on the other side is coming through or an angel
Yeah.
is coming through. They each have a different vibration.
Oh, yes, entirely. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Miss is sharing, wow, I lost my beautiful necklace I bought in memory of my parents. Put it somewhere, question marks, or lost it. Frustrating. So
Yeah. For those new to you, Annemarie, what was the inspiration for your book to add? What's a key takeaway or theme you'd love others to take from your book? Oh, thank you, Michael, Mr. Grit. Oh, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Hello. To answer your first question, the inspiration, when I was going through the acceptance and the surrender of stepping into my work, my entire world had really flipped upside down. And in tarot, it would have been the Tower card. Okay. And it was like a whole spread of tower cards. Okay. So tower after tower after tower. So the universe really, really brought me to my knees. And I thought, my God, there's no college or there's no class that I can just go to and start to develop an understanding of all of this information that's been coming to me for so long and piece it together in an organized and intellectual fashion that I can actually process. So it was truly out of need. It was intended to be a resource for those that had never any real experience or understanding with spirit and angels in the past, and understanding, first of all, that it's okay to freak out, and it's okay to know that a lot of people, and in fact, and I'm sure you understand this, Carrie Lynn, the more people that you share spiritual experiences with, the more people say, "Oh yeah, me too. I remember when this happened and when that happened," and so it really reduces the stigmas that are associated with this work. But so the initial inspiration was to just make it easier for everyone to understand that, first of all, it's quite common to have spiritual experiences. And second of all, to start to eliminate some of the negative stereotypes that were associated with working as a medium and talking to the spirit realm and to the angelic realm. And no, I have not lost my mind. And although I did question it more than once, but it was something that when it really came down to it, I decided to move forward with writing this book, to give people permission to explore their own spirituality and their own connection with their angels. And I was 36, and it's a really long 36 years in retrospect of kind of moving through a real three-dimensional world from a 5D bubble. And so I was really internally conflicted a lot. And so it was something that, as I was formulating this manuscript for the book, I thought, gosh, everybody needs to know that they're really, believe it or not, they're enlightened too. Everybody has the capacity to, and not to spoil the story, but everybody has the capacity to connect with their spirit within themselves and connect with their family members in heaven as well as their guardian angels. And if I can unlock that for a handful of people, then I'll feel as though Enlightened has done its job. Although that's between the reader and the book. It's beyond me now. But yeah.
And where they are on their personal healing journey.
Yes. Yeah.
Where they are in their personal healing journey. So what they're ready to face and look at and allow and feel, and that it's all good and it's taking you to where you need to be.
Yeah. And Carrie Lynn, one of the wonderful things that I think that I can offer my clients, and this is my dad that comes out of me, is that I'm not afraid to kick the door in and say, all right, here's the truth, and here's what this is, and here's where we need to go. And here's why we need to go in that direction, because it's all for the purpose of peace. And I think a lot of times when there's fear factors with my clients, when we can understand that it's okay to be afraid and then still move forward, that's when real miraculous momentum starts to open up. And that's super exciting to see, to observe. Yeah.
Mr. Kelly. Hi, Sean Kelly. Thank you for being here. Sean is a host here with UPRN. He has Into the Night, Sunday evenings and Tuesday evenings.
Sean.
We all love Sean. Sean is also very intuitive and sensitive as well too.
Awesome.
So I'm just mindful of the time, and I'm going to do our station ID. It's time to do the station ID. So
sure.
If you are just listening or tuning into us now, thank you for being here. You are listening to Spirit Switchboard. I'm your host, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM out of New Orleans. So thank you for being here. Today's guest is Annemarie Heckert, and she is here talking about her book, Enlightenment. And it's been a joyful conversation. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on.
Thank you so much for having me, Carrie Lynn. This is such a pleasure. Yeah.
It's so we had just had talked about moving through fear and understanding that still steps forward, right? Even though you're feeling that fear, you're still moving forward. And part of what people don't necessarily maybe understand either, when you're moving forward and still in fears, you're inspiring everyone else to do the same. So as we're taking ownership of our journey, putting those tools to work, finding different tools, like your book is a tool that somebody can put into their tool belt and
yeah.
access it. And they may do really well with it for 2 months, and then they step back into a pattern, and then they come back to it, and that it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, it's a spiral, isn't it? We go out and then we come back in, and then we go out, we come back in. Yeah, and that's that in and of itself is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And exactly what it's needing to be without judgment, right? Without letting the Chihuahua brain get too loud.
That's right. That's right.
Kathy is sharing, thank you for keeping it simple. Sometimes you can get bogged down in the science. I look forward to reading your book.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. And Kathy, in that same regard, I come from a very long line of wonderful storytellers, and my maternal grandmother and paternal grandmother were wonderful storytellers, and it was not uncommon to sit around the kitchen table and there'd be no TV on, no music on, and it would just be the stories. And so I speak on that just a little bit at the very beginning of the book,
Mm-hmm.
about the sacredness of storytelling. So I think that part of what I do with my work is, I mean, they call it a reading for many different reasons, but it's true in that I really read my clients' stories, and so it's not super duper scientific at all. It is truly my clients' stories. So thank you for that.
We use the same words. I'm really enjoying this. Yeah, it's super funny because, we get so, I'm not sure. I know that I do. I'm so in my lane. I'm just so busy.
Oh, yes, Carolyn. Yes.
Like that you
Yes.
don't really know all of the other people that are in this world and who's
Oh.
doing. So the podcast has been wonderful for me to be able to connect with people, but we use the same words. Like I use that, when I'm doing a session with somebody, I say that at the beginning, I just need to tap in really quick for a few moments because they're going to give me the trailer to the movie. So we're just going to get the trailer to the movie.
That's so
and
true.
I like it to unfold like a story. We're going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And this is how it's going to unfold like a story. And I, it helps us stay grounded and have it come through in a way that is easy for a client to move through it with us, right?
Yeah. Yes. And I'm not sure if you ever had choose your own adventure books, Carolyn, when you were growing up. Yeah. So,
I use the same analogy with people.
Yes. Go to page 57 if you want to hop on the roller coaster, or go to page 108 if you'd like to go back for the ice cream cone. Yeah. I mean, it's just like that. It really is just like choose your own adventure. On a much kind of more complex.
We could choose your own adventure stories too, though. Like when you are in full alignment, you can feel out those different potential pathways, and the one that feels the lightest, you'll feel the most expansive. And that's part of why this would be so important to understand how to tap in.
Yeah. And then also too, if you choose the roller coaster, that's okay. Enjoy the ride. And if you choose to go get the ice cream cone, then enjoy the sweetness. I mean, in no matter what trajectory you choose, there's still going to be joys. And I remember saying to my teacher, and lessons. Yeah. And I remember saying to my teacher, Candy Danzis, I said, that's it. I said, I'm done learning. And she said, oh, no, you're not. And I said, come on, no, really, I'm not going to do this again. And she said, oh no, Annemarie, I'm so sorry. She said, but we're all here to learn, no matter where we are, or what we do. So no matter what trajectory we choose, there will be lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I always just ask for it to come with as much grace and ease as possible. And thank you very much.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, with as much grace and ease. And thank you very much. I think it's one of like the phrases that get said the most in this.
Yes.
With grace and ease. And thank you very much. So if you were to suggest a start place,
Yeah.
with the book or just with chakras and learning, what would the start place be?
Well, actually, I would suggest for anyone that is absolutely brand new to the study of spirit or angels, I would guide them to go, without being in the context of a reading, I would guide them to go to receive Reiki first, and to receive it in that where they're receiving an energy treatment, so that they can have a firsthand experience of what it's like to have energy work. And then from there, I would guide them to take Reiki 1, Reiki 2, and Reiki Master. And if they really wanted to kick the door in, to take thank you, Pat. And if they really wanted to kick the door in on Svadhyaya, which is the Sanskrit word for self-study, if you really wanted to explore that, then I would by all means encourage everyone to take on a yoga teacher training, where you'll really be exposed to the fine nuances, those subtleties of the energetic field as well as your body. And it's true what they say. The very definition of the word yoga is union, where body and spirit come together. So I would start with Reiki, followed immediately by yoga.
A lot of people have a very profound experience with their third eye opening up.
There we are. I have you.
With Reiki 1. With Reiki 1. It's probably, I just opened the door, so we're going to step in. We're just going to step into sharing that story. Because the very first time, because I think it's different now, because I've talked to somebody else about Reiki, and maybe you have that information and you can share with me if it's changed since when I took it. So when I had did this, Sandy, you cried. It's powerful, that Reiki 1 for many people, especially if you're already kind of knowing that you've got some things going on, and especially if you take it and you're not sure why. Not sure why I signed up. I just felt pulled to, like, profound things happen.
Yeah.
When I had signed up, she was sharing, like, it's going to take 20 days to, kind of process. And so don't eat, don't drink coffee, don't drink alcohol, don't do all these things. And I'm like, I am in the wrong class. I cannot be here.
Oh my God.
What do you mean? Like,
so that's so funny.
Girl that needs a burger when she's done a full day of sessions. There's no way that I can do this. But I said, if we know that energy is all connected and we're choosing things wisely in the choice, and we have gratitude for things that we're anyway, my ADHDness frustrated her. She said she couldn't talk to me at the moment, and she had to leave the room to regroup.
Oh my goodness. Oh dear. Oh, shit.
It was a really interesting experience for sure, because there are people who kind of do those things from a different perspective than spiritual. There are some people who do Reiki and not want more connection to the other side. There are people who do yoga that are doing it for a physical health purpose, a wellness, without the attachment to the other side. So, our intentions matter. Our intentions are also contributing to the experience that we are going to have and where it can potentially unfold to.
Yeah. When I was guided to take my very first Reiki 1 class, I thought, okay, let's roll the dice. Let's see what this is all about, And when I then was guided to the yoga teacher training, I thought, oh my gosh, I just want to stay on my mat. I just want to finish the class. I just want to. So my goals at the time were really truly often not even not one day at a time. It was really like, let's just get through the hour. In that I was just uncovering so many different layers to myself and to who I am here to be. And and in doing that, there was a lot of letting go, a lot more letting go than had I known how much letting go there would be. I don't know that I would have necessarily signed up for any of those classes. And in fact, I'm sure there were times when I was like, are you kidding me, angels? You really want me to do this? This is a bunch of malarkey. Um, but as
That's
I
just surrendering, though,
yes,
right?
that is just the surrendering. But oh man, did I put up a fight quite a few times. And but the angels and the universe really tolerated my resistance very beautifully, very graciously. But I think that if you can just get to your first Reiki treatment, and if you can just get to your first yoga class, and if you just stay on the mat, and if you just stay on the Reiki table, and if you just take it one treatment or one class at a time, then you'll really know what the next right step will be. And you don't have to have it all figured out all at once. You don't have to know all of the answers, but if you just go one small step at a time, um, it's just miraculous. It's just wonderful what you'll discover about your connection with spirit, your connection with your angels, your connection with the greater universe, your soul purpose work, as well as really your heart's desires. And if anything brings you to peace, that will be the ticket.
And it's a journey. You don't have you have lots of time.
Yeah.
And what's meant for you will come back around. You can't miss it, because they'll make sure if it's important, they're patiently waiting for the next moment to put it in your path.
In your radar. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I totally agree with that, Carrie Lynn. Yeah.
Because lots of people feel like they're missing the boat, or they get that itty bitty shitty thinking, coulda, shoulda, woulda, going like, I had that opportunity and I missed it, and it's like, it's okay. So we're just gonna process this, and we just keep moving forward with that. Exactly, Sandy. She's saying, trust the journey, the universe knows.
Yes.
Kathy is sharing, thank you both. This is exactly where I am and working on right now.
Great.
That's wonderful.
And at the back of the book, I had mentioned Anatomy of the Spirit, but at the back of my book, Enlightened, I do have a recommended reading list as well, which I compiled through blood, sweat, and tears when I was in the process of coming into my work. But I thought, I'm just going to...
checklist book, like the same book.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's I was super excited when I got to the back. I went, oh.
There it is. There it is. That's great. That's great. Yeah, it's such an incredible list of, like I was saying earlier, my books are my friends. Every time I open one of those fantastic books back up again, I see it again from a different perspective. So I never read the same book twice, really. But I think the more we can read, and the more we can hold space for what resonates with us, then the more tools we have in that toolbox, that spiritual journey toolbox. So so keep it going.
And it's an epic individual journey that doesn't end.
Yes.
Like we just are constantly.
Carrie Lynn, it doesn't end. Yes, really... I'm kidding when I say that, because wouldn't we like to have a finish line? Yeah. Oh, we just got a little glitchy. But
yeah, we did. That's okay. I think
I lost you.
Oh dear. I think it was the enthusiasm that we were talking about.
There you are.
Yeah. Oh dear, it's that big energy that's tapping us in and out that way. I agree, Michelle. A good reading
There
list
we
is
are.
always appreciated for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Michelle.
James, I appreciate this. We're not doing necessarily the readings, but James is sharing. I was told by a medium I have 2 large male spirits with me. Any ideas on this? That would be a good practice where you're leaning in and asking your divine team to show you and open that up and give you more clues on that connection as well too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, big energy, right, Literally. Sandy, I appreciate that's a compliment. I'm taking that as a compliment. Thank you. She's saying you
Thank
two
you,
are.
Sandy. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I really do feel many people are tapping in with their chakras and not realizing that that's what they're doing, right? Because so many things can pull our chakras into alignment and out of alignment.
Yeah.
And you do a great job, I think, with the book in showing people here was this experience and this is how it's connected to this chakra, and
Yeah.
for people to be able to self-reflect and take that time to go, okay, I had this experience and this is how I responded or moved through it. So
Yeah. There was
yeah.
for me personally, a lot of what I've come to learn is through the mirror, the strategy of the mirror, the tool of the mirror, in that whatever someone is working on, or whatever is triggering them, there is something within me that I too can work on. And so, I mean, it's true. We're all connected, one way or another. And so, if we can kind of hold space for that information and see it as a revelation rather than judgment,
Yes.
then we are really kind of putting into practice some of the strategies that Eckhart Tolle speaks on in his book, The Power of Now, about like being the witness to our journey. And thank you, Lorelei. And also where we can embrace those experiences and that mirroring, and use that reflection to see things that may have been dormant or hidden within our own chakras until this moment in time. And then the timing is always
the power of now
right.
can be very overwhelming for people, though.
Yes.
It's very overwhelming. And so again, even with the reading, knowing that it's okay to have a snippet and
Yeah.
it's down for a month or 2 or 6 months and then coming back
Yes.
to it, because your spirit will guide you the right time, the right place, and no judgment with that. No judgment
Yes.
that you can't sit and plow through it, because that is not a book that you can plow through.
Yes. And I felt that way about A Course in Miracles as well. In that, yeah. And
oh my gosh, the Course of Miracles is an interesting. I would love to hear your experience, and then I have
yes.
the craziest story attached to A Course in Miracles.
Oh gosh, Carolyn. Well, A Course in Miracles came to me. It came to me. I'll put it that way, in that I did not seek out A Course in Miracles. It was kind of given to me. And I was like, well, what the hell is this? I don't even know how to read this. And because it's not really in a story formula. And so to me, it was a little bit like the Bible, but not the Bible, in that it has these little snippets of content and you can just process it one bite at a time. But I picked up A Course in Miracles, I put it down, and then, of course, the universe then sent me A Return to Love. by Marianne Williamson. And I was like, oh, I got it. This is a story, and she is reflecting upon the principles of A Course in Miracles. And so Marianne Williamson's book changed my life entirely. And so then I went back to A Course in Miracles, and I was still a little bit confused, a lot. But it really reinforced the power of now, which is Eckhart's teachings of, being the witness, and kind of like the Shakespearean idea of we're all players upon the stage kind of idea. And also Carolyn Mace's understanding of archetypes. Okay, so lots of different terms, but ultimately the same idea. Okay, but A Course in Miracles is an incredible opportunity to learn, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
and how did you
it's the same story essentially. Like I have been a single parent for like 25 years. So
oh my gosh,
my kids were very small, and Gavin kind of came along shortly after that, but it was alone. And we had this storage unit, and it was full, and every once in a while, because where we were staying with my mom. We didn't have all the space, so we had the storage unit. All of our stuff was crammed in it. So I would take the kids to the storage unit, and we would swap out toys. They would ride their bikes around this parking lot, just do the best that we could, right? And I was doing hair at the time. I wasn't doing this as a career at that point. And I had this like chair. So I would pull this chair out, and I would sit in it while the kids rode their bicycles around the parking lot. So Gavin wasn't even born yet, actually. I just had the 3 older kids. And so I open up it's locked, bolt lock key. I unlocked it, lift it up, and there's this huge 3-ring binder on the chair. No one else has access to this storage unit. Nobody else can touch it. But this binder is sitting there. And I'm like, so then I opened it up, and here's a picture, this black and white picture of Jesus. And I'm like, what is this? And then it's like A Course in Miracles. And it's just A Course in Miracles. And there was no structure to it. There was no chapter. It was just boom, boom, boom. Like every page in this thick 3-ring. It's over here. I'll tap a picture and stick it on social media for you guys to see.
That would be great.
And I plowed through it. We would go to the laundromat, and I'm highlighting and writing notes and crying and having this experience. And I'm plowing through it so much that the hair on my arms would stand up. Reading, and I was humming, but then I was like manifesting, and I was it was powerful for me. And I remember there was this fellow that used to come into the laundromat when I was there, and I always called him the laundromat guru. So he would come in with this little nugget that I always needed at that right point in time. And he's like, what are you doing with that book? And I said, I don't know what I'm doing, but I said, it's something. And he's like, what is it? And he said, Carrie Lynn, this is A Course in Miracles. You're only supposed to read or do one little bit at a time and let it process for like a month or 2. And you have done all of this at one go.
Holy smokes.
It was crazy. It was super
Oh my
crazy.
gosh, Carrie Lynn. Oh my gosh. You were ready for it though, right? I mean,
I think so, because I never finished it. I still am doing it slow now.
Yes. Yeah. And that's okay, right? I mean, to process it as quickly or as slowly as you resonate with. That's wonderful. I love that story. Amazing. Really amazing.
Presented. It was a gift. That's how I see it is, our experiences with our angels, our loved ones in spirit are miracles, from the smallest little like turn left here to the cardinal at the window to hearing our name in the morning. It's all these beautiful miracles. And the more that we say thank you and lean in, the more we're going to receive.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Entirely. Yeah. And that's wonderful. That's a great story. Have you written a book yet, Carrie Lynn?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
I think that's going to be in your book. Okay.
There's a lot. It's been quite a journey for the kids and I, for sure, to where we are now. And I share a lot of it with people to inspire them. And I think that's part of, when you wrote your book, you knew this was it was the right time. It probably felt very pushed. And at the same time, we dig our heels in. So I've dug my heels in a bit too, because it is very vulnerable. It's a vulnerable position when you are going back through all of those places again. And still, so that would be a question I have for you. When you were writing the book, did you have not more healing, but another sense of awareness to those experiences, or maybe another aha from a different perspective as you were writing? Oh, did I freeze on you? Oh dear. Did it freeze up on you? Maybe I'll type this out for you. Are we good now? No, eh? We'll see what we can do this way. I'm not frozen. Okay. Annemarie, you can't hear me? Oh, it's those big emotions. It's the emotions. Thank you, Laura Lee. And thank you. The idea of doing a book has been brought up a lot, and I kind of dig my heels in about it. It's the someday. And to be honest, I have little pieces of paper all over the place with little notes. I could not imagine having the clarity to stay focused to do that. Laura Lee is just sharing, I had to take a course in miracles, small, stretched in pieces. That's good that you understood to do it that way.
There we are.
We froze again. So the question that I was asking was, when you were looking back at those experiences to share,
yes,
did you have a different experience, or a different layer of healing, or a different layer of awareness come up when you were reflecting back on some of those experiences?
Oh, it was brutal. In that I had, as I shared, I had the framework of the chakras that my editor and I had discovered, that this would be a really good format. But when it really came down to siphoning through, all of the beautiful interactions I've had with my clients, it was like, it was really difficult to choose which stories to share. All of them have been worthy of great lessons and great trials and great triumphs. And so I found that when I was approaching the keyboard and really just getting ready to start the manuscript out, that it was just absolutely exhausting, and that I was really working in my third eye to retell the story again as though I was experiencing it for the first time.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
it was super. It was super cool. However, I don't know that I would recommend that writing technique to many people. In that, in fact, I shared this story recently at a book event that I think I finalized my contract for the book in September of 22, and the deadline to submit the first draft was February of 23. So I
Yeah.
had September to February to complete the real draft of the book, and and it was I had not started it until January. so
Oh,
so
that's great.
I
So where do you have anything coming up? Do you have courses, classes? Where can people find you on social media? Follow you?
do I have any courses or classes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can certainly come to my website at AnnmarieHeckert.com. And you can find me on social media at Annmarie Heckert Spiritual Counseling. And I'll be posting forthcoming links there.
That's fabulous. So, and you do.
Are we glitchy?
Yeah, it seems to be a little bit glitchy. I know on your website as well too, you have other you did another interview. So you did the TV interview that's there as well too, that people can watch that as well too. Are you not hearing me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just I can hear you. Yep. Yeah. It's a little glitchy, Carolyn. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, it's all
And
good.
that's on my website as well. It's just I think probably a 3-minute interview that was on an ABC channel in the central Pennsylvania region. So it was,
Yeah. So if you
yeah.
are
Yep.
listening, if you are an audio listener,
Oh, I'm so sorry. We're glitchy.
that's okay. That's okay. So for all of a lot of our followers are listeners later, right? So for those people who are listening, it's Ann with an E. So Ann with an E, Annmarie Heckert .com is where people can find you. And then you have links to your other social media sites, to Instagram and Facebook from your website as well too. Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
You can
Yes,
give me a little bit of a breather space before the next book gets started.
Gets born. Probably, yes, probably. There's a couple of ideas in mind that I have already. Some of them are really big, and some of them are very small. I'm not sure what project I'll take on next first. But I'm sure there'll be something. I don't like to sit long.
Yeah. So I feel like this time of year, so many transitions are happening for people, beginnings and endings and super big emotions. It's a great time to be able to pick up Enlightened, your book Enlightened, and really have that as a tool right now as they're transitioning. It's school and classes, the end of one season, beginning of another. There's always lots of big emotions that happen this time of year. So, it's great timing for your book to be out and available to people. So again, it's on the website, AnnmarieHeckert.com, and Amazon.
That's right.
Global.
That's correct. Yes. Thank you.
All those places.
Yes.
Do you have other interviews like that you're
I have
going to be doing? You kind of.
I have a couple in the works, and additional podcasts and those kinds of things that are coming into the future, and some wonderful local things in central Pennsylvania as well.
And local would be where?
Well, it's at this time I have a book event in the spring of 2025 in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, at the local library, Bachelor Library.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so that will be the next event for now, regarding the book.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure getting to meet you in person.
Thank
So
you so much, Carrie
in
Lynn. Yes,
person this
close
way.
enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. In person this way.
Thank you.
And it was wonderful. I'm going to have to send Kim Sage a little thank you. And
Yes.
it was wonderful to be able to have that connection that way. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being here. So
Thank
for
you so much.
everybody that was in the chat, thank you for participating. Thank you for all the questions and comments and hanging out with us. If you are going to continue listening with the UPRN UFO Paranormal, Jeffrey Pritchett is up next with the Church of Mavis. And next week I have on Paul Wilde. He will be talking about his book about Jim Morrison being a secret occult teacher. So how through his poetry and his songs, how he was teaching about connecting to the other side as well too, and how he was a teacher. So that's going to be a fabulous conversation as well too. So I hope that you guys can join us next week as well. So you guys have been listening to the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM out of New Orleans. Thank you everybody for being here, and we will see you next week. Good night.
Good night.